Welcome back to the Morning Express. Now, Face of Kenya is an annual event aimed at promoting the Kenyan brand abroad. The event is held in the USA, in the UK, Germany, France and Dubai. And in a studio this morning, we are joined by the new Face of Kenya USA 2016, Judy Nzeki. Judy, thank you so much for joining us in studio. Looking very lovely.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Right. So talk to us about when were you crowned Face of Kenya USA?
So Face of Kenya happened early this year in April. So that's when all the contestants came in and contested, and that's when I was crowned as Face of Kenya 2016.
How was the experience for you?
It was good. I mean, it's nerve-wracking at first to think that you have to walk in front of so many people.
Right.
And not just that, you have to speak, you have to show your talent, you have to show why you are doing what you are doing. And I did have a really good experience. You learn so much.
Right.
And you're doing this with so many other young people. And there's always something to learn.
Right.
So I had a really good experience.
And there's a reason also why you won Face of Kenya USA. I understand that all the contestants had a project to do, or an initiative, and you chose a certain charity. Talk to us about that.
I did. So you are given the opportunity to pick a charity of your choice that is based back in Kenya. And I picked a charity that is close to my heart.
Right.
A charity that helped me personally. And so it was only fair, and I felt like I wanted to give back, and I chose Tumini. So Tumini International is a non-profit organization that helped pay my school fees, that helped me get a scholarship to go and study abroad, and I wanted to create an opportunity for someone else, just the same way they created an opportunity for me.
Right.
And that's why I picked Tumini.
Now talk to us about what the project is about, what Tumini does.
So Tumini, it's based in Eastern Kenya, and it's in Machakos, Masi to be specific. It's a non-profit that helps kids that have been orphaned by HIV/AIDS.
Right.
So they provide basic needs: food, shelter, clothing, and they like their kids to feel that they belong.
Right.
To provide basic needs that they would not get anywhere else. And when I joined Tumini, there were only about 23 kids.
Right.
But right now, there are over 2,000 kids that have gone through the program. A program that is growing so fast, that has helped people like me, that has created opportunities for me, and it's still growing.
Right.
And they have grown to create opening a medical clinic, to opening a school, a high school for girls. And they're not stopping there. They keep growing so that they can create these opportunities, not just for Tumini kids, but for other people in the community as well.
Right.
So that's
and I understand you raised about, what, $4,000 for the initiative?
I raised $4,000, and this was merely from friends. I would go to people's inboxes on Facebook, and I would ask them, hey, this is my project. This is what I am working on. Do you mind helping me, chipping in? Because I want to make a difference, and I cannot do that alone. I need you. If you're able to give me $1, $2, $3, that's fine. Something, anything, anything helps. And people responded so well. I was so happy. I didn't know, and some people, I think it was a surprise. Because I did not expect it. Right. But it was a very humbling experience. But I did raise $4,000, and all from people, going from one person to the other. Because sometimes you put a post on Facebook, hey, help me out.
No one cares.
But people read it and they keep scrolling.
Right.
But when you take the time and the opportunity to approach that person individually, then they feel the need to, you know what, I think I can relate. I think I know what you're talking about. And they feel the need to want to help. And that's what I did. That's
a great initiative, of course, also bringing out the fact that it's not just a beauty pageant, it's beauty for a purpose.
Right.
Now, you mentioned earlier on that Tumini paid for, or enabled you to get a scholarship to study abroad. What are you studying abroad?
So I studied psychology, and I graduated in 2013. But funny enough, I never wanted to continue or pursue psychology, and I ventured into non-profit organizations because that's where my heart is.
Right.
That is where my passion is. I mean, I have been involved with NGOs for, what, over 13 years now. basically more than half my life.
Right.
And to me, that is what brings out the best in me. It's what I do not struggle with. Comes out very natural, and I enjoy and love giving back and making a difference. Seeing someone smile, and it's even better knowing that that person is smiling because of you, you know? So that's where my heart is.
All right, so this pageant took place in the US, I believe, but you're in Kenya now, so are you fully here, or do you have to commute back and forth?
So I live in the US right now, but I visit Kenya at least once a year. And Face of Kenya creates that opportunity for the reigning Face of Kenya to come to Kenya and explain to Kenya what it is that we are doing. Why are we using Kenya? Why are we using the name Kenya abroad? And that's why I'm here. For just a few days to come and explain to people, to come and talk to people, to come and empower people, especially the youth, and tell them what Face of Kenya is about. Why are we doing this? And I still have to go back, but of course, East-West, home is best.
Absolutely. But you know, what kind of feedback do you get? Because the main point of this is to promote the Kenyan brand abroad. What kind of impact does the pageant have abroad?
So one of the things that we do is charity initiatives. So why we did this is Janet Wainaina is the CEO, and she wanted to see how we can be able to accommodate kids that are born of Kenyan parents but living outside Kenya. Because sometimes they belong to our culture, yes, they are born of Kenyan parents, but they are living in a different culture. So what's a good way of connecting them to their roots back home? And one of the things is by giving back. And through that, you learn about your country, your roots, that we have tribes, that we have a culture here, way too many cultures. And people find that very engaging in having young people feel like they belong somewhere.
Right.
And I'm young, you're young, we all are young, and we want people, especially the young people, to feel like they belong somewhere, not just in between. They're in between, in the middle somewhere.
And I can imagine it can be quite confusing to be in a foreign country, you know, and not quite have that sense of community.
Right. It's confusing because on one side you are here, this person who speaks fluent English, very good English from Kenya, and then you go over there and people tell you have an accent.
Right, and I don't have an accent.
You have an accent.
Right.
So you kind of have to tune yourself to speak in a way that they understand, and not because you want to. It's because they
have to communicate.
Right. You have
you don't have to be made fun of.
You have to communicate.
Right.
And so sometimes in between you get pulled into a situation where you don't know where you belong. But with Face of Kenya, we want the young people to feel like they belong somewhere.
Right.
They belong to a culture that is so rich, that is so powerful. And by doing that, they rise to be leaders. They rise to empower other young people.
Right.
You know, they rise to be people that are proud of where they come from. You know, holding that flag outside Kenya is
a big deal.
It's a big deal.
You know, actually, I find it rather interesting because, you know, when you see Kenyans in Kenya, especially during that time when there's this hashtag trending, Ninavumilia kuwa Mkenya.
Right.
And, you know, guys were very angry with the economy and whatnot. But, you know, no one wanted to be associated with being Kenyan in Kenya. But when you take a look at people, Kenyans outside Kenya, you know, you'd find somebody wearing, you know, head to toe Kenyan flag, just to identify themselves as Kenyan because they're really proud of that heritage. Right.
So you will find people looking for the slightest things just so that they can have that Kenyan connection. I will guarantee you over 90% of the population that lives outside. Let me just speak for the US. At least they have a Kenyan flag in their house.
Right.
You know, just something, because you are in a foreign country. You know, people you don't get to go home often. And so you want to identify, to have that identity. And that's what Face of Kenya is doing.
Right.
You know, doing these small things that hopefully is going to grow into something really huge. You know, and so that sense of belonging is really important. And yes, we can say najivunia kuwa Mkenya, but when we go out, we honestly are proud to say that we're from Kenya. I mean, it's not always that they're good things all the time, but
it's where you come from.
It's where you come from.
Right.
You know, that's where you speak your mother tongue. That's where you learn how to be who you are today. And we keep saying, if you survived in Kenya, you can survive anywhere. You really can survive anywhere.
That's very interesting. So did you always know you wanted to do this beauty pageant?
Yes and no. I like charity work.
Right.
Okay. And one of the things that I wanted to approach Face of Kenya with is the mindset that I am not into modeling. I enjoy charity work. So if this is a modeling contest, it's good, but I would prefer if it's a charity pageant.
Right.
So I knew I wanted to give back from the beginning, but not in a modeling kind of situation. But this opportunity and this platform, how it's created, it gives you an opportunity to give back while doing something else.
Right.
So why not? Why not make a difference and, you know, just go on with it? And I decided to do that.
All right. So how did you find out, first of all, about Face of Kenya? And we have a few pictures on the screen right now. Maybe you can comment on some of those, you know, very interesting social media pictures. What are those?
So that was when we were contesting, and all those are the contestants for Face of Kenya 2016. Everyone so empowered, talented, and young people who are really curious and really empowered to make a difference.
People who want to make a difference.
They do want to make a difference.
Because, I mean, before you, there was Trina Wambui. That's the previous Face of Kenya USA. I didn't quite hear of what project she did start, but I understand she had quite an interesting project as well.
She did. And Trina did a very good job of building a school in Western Kenya. And she raised a lot of money, and she did a very good representation of who we are, given that it was our first year Face of Kenya in the USA.
Right. All right, so you're quite shy. Actually, I noticed when you came in that you're quite shy. How did you manage all this? A beauty pageant is something. I mean, you need a lot of confidence to do that.
It is something. And I'm shy at first because I don't know what to expect, you know, but when I get relaxed and when I get to know people, then I calm down, I get relaxed, and then I go on with it. But I did this for passion. And when you're passionate about something, nothing can stop you.
Right.
So regardless of me being shy, I knew what I wanted to achieve by the end of the day. I knew why I was doing Face of Kenya. And so I had to put my shyness and step up and remember that smile on that kid's face and give that.
All right, so did you approach Face of Kenya? Did they come to you? How did you learn about it?
Well, a friend actually told me about Face of Kenya, what they do, and I was like, no, that is not my thing. But I went online to read so that I can understand what it is that they do.
Right.
And then I realized that everything that I have been doing the past 13 years is exactly what Face of Kenya does. And so I called the manager and we talked for probably about 2 hours and asking about Face of Kenya. And she told me, go online, apply, and we will go through a reviewing process. And when we are done, we'll let you know if you are qualified, if you got in or not. And that's how I did.
Right, so you were doing charity 13 years before the pageant.
Right.
What were you doing in those 13 years?
So when I learned about Tumini, it was in 2002. And I joined this group of kids that they are not well off. They don't come from good families, families that are struggling. And I started talking to them one by one. I started feeling like I belong, and I think tunaelewana, you know, tunaelewana with these kids, and we kind of have similar backgrounds. And I started talking to them. Just basic talking. And by the end of the day, they would tell me, Judy, are you going to come next when we're closed school, April, August, and December? Are you going to come next time and give us that talk, that speech that you gave us? And little by little, I started volunteering and telling them, yes, I will be here next time. And that's how I started. And it went on and on until I moved back to Kenya last year for 6 months. I moved back so that I can see what these kids are going through, and not just to hear or read from the internet. And I spent 6 months going from home to home, doing home visitations, so that I can see what they're going through and if we can be able to help them in any way. And I did, and we got probably over 200 kids sponsored.
Wow.
That went through the program.
Wow, that's big. All right. So what's next for you? Face of Kenya. You were crowned in 2016.
Yes.
So how long are you reigning?
So we will go up until April officially, but we just moved Face of Kenya to August.
Right.
So I will have extra 3 months.
So what are you doing for the remaining few months?
So right now, starting right now while I'm in Kenya, we'll be going to various schools. And one of the schools I'm going to is in Meru County, another one in Machakos County. I will be going to AMREF, volunteering there. And the next big projects are going to dinners that are arranged by the people in the USA and telling them and empowering them. Some of them have not confirmed. Others we have to go through a specific process so that we confirm that we are going there. But the same programs that I have done before are the same ones that we're going to go on with when I go back.
Right, and it's so great that you have this sense of satisfaction when you speak about charity. You're only 26 years old,
I am.
And you started doing this more than 10 years ago. So you were rather young when you realized what it is that made you tick. And talk to the youth about that. How did you find that?
This is why. Michelle, I was given a second chance to life, basically. And I was given an opportunity to a shot at success. And I took it because I didn't know any better. I didn't know my way forward. But when you're given that opportunity, you grab it, you embrace it, and you give it your best.
Right.
That is where I get my energy from. Because I want a better life, but not just for myself, but for other people.
And to give back to society.
Because it's about creating opportunities for other people. Face of Kenya has created this opportunity for me.
Right.
But what do I do about the next person who is coming in? It doesn't matter how young you are, 26, 36, 14, you are capable of giving, you are capable of making a difference. And we keep telling young people, we are the leaders of tomorrow. Right. We are the leaders of today.
Today, exactly.
It starts today. And so when I see these doors opening for me, I'm happy. I'm happy, but I'm not fully satisfied until I open that door for somebody else.
Right.
That is what gives me the energy to go on. Because najua mahali nimetoka.
Right.
You know?
Na unaenda mbali. You
Na
know,
ninaenda
there's a long way to
mbali.
come. And 2017 is a new year.
Yes.
Bigger things, greater things for you, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Ladies
it.
and gentlemen, Judy Nzeki, Face of Kenya, USA. We'll be coming back with Judy Nzeki in a few minutes as we continue with this conversation. But let's take a short break here on The Morning Express.